Okay, hello, welcome back. Today we are answering another question on the Rowin Mini Power. So this one is in regards to basically how many pedals can you run, does it get noisy, that sort of thing. Our main comparison today is going to be against daisy chaining and also against just guitar straight to amp. We're going to do all that stuff. It's not a Voodoo Labs. It doesn't cost the same as a Voodoo Labs. It's not as big as a Voodoo Labs. The wiring is not the same by any stretch of the imagination. These are referred to as independent outputs. You can see that in the other videos and the debates and stuff in the comments. It's not full-on isolation, like as in isolated transformer type stuff, which is the sort of stuff that the Voodoo Labs gets into. So if you've got real earth hum issues, then look at something like the Voodoo Labs. If you're currently daisy chaining, this might be something to look at. But yeah, stay tuned because we talk a little bit about the different types of hum stuff that you can get as well. So check it out, and I hope it helps you out today. Okay, so before we get into the pedal board and the guitar, we're gonna start with the bass line. I've purposely today, I'm doing this in a space that does have a bit of earth hum, so it's important to understand that there are different causes of noise basically through your guitar rig. One is what your pickups are gonna pick up from around the place. They will pick up electrical magnetic fields out of all sorts of things. The most common thing in venues is lighting systems, especially if you're using park-and lighting that draws a whole lot of current, three-phase power, that sort of thing. And then the pickups are going to pick those noises up and amplify them, and that's going to get worse with the more gain that you add basically. So I'm doing this in a room that's got a bit of earth hum. Now that comes from the power supplies that are running the amp and the pedal board and that sort of thing, and that's really what we're looking at today. So better to look at it in a place that has the issue there, otherwise everything's just going to be silent. Cool. But what we will start with the bass line. So we will start with just the amp itself, which you will hear will make a little bit of noise on its own, and then we will build our way up from there. Okay, so first the amp. Okay, so that's just the amp on its own. The next thing we will do is we will plug the guitar straight into the amp, and what I'm going to be doing with this particular guitar is I'll switch around between pickups a bit. When I pull this knob out here, what that is actually doing is splitting this front humbucker pickup into a single coil. So a single coil pickup will, it doesn't have that humbucking ability where it's got the two pickups counter phasing each other, but what it will also do is drop the gain down, so we get a lot more gain when we are running both pickups. Okay, and that's something I'll talk about a bit about today, and you'll see for yourself. It's when we add more and more gain that all these noise problems get worse and worse. Cool, so just the guitar. Okay, so that's just the guitar straight to the amp, and now we will plug in the pedal board first with the Rowin Mini Power, which is the power supply that I use. That's the one that we are questioning today. The question again was, how many pedals can you run? I would say less of an issue is how many pedals can you run at the same time, but what pedals are you running and what gains are you running them at. So I don't have any noise problems with this thing, but I also run fairly low gains, so what we're going to experiment with is cranking those gains up and seeing what happens. Okay, so we're plugged into the pedal board now, so just sitting there idle. I've started with all the pedals off. We will turn them on bit by bit. We will play with some gains. The one in the top corner is actually a noise suppressor, so I'll leave that off for the most part. I'll turn it on a bit later on, just so you can see what it does. That is just running an effects loop with the two overdrives there, so it will help fight against some of that gain hum. I won't be talking so much while we run through this bit because I'm going to turn my vocal mic off just so that there's no confusion between the hum of that and the hum of the amp. And I've done the same through those other demonstrations. I've had the vocal mic off, so you're just hearing the mic from the amp. Okay, so you will see there that we can push those gains right up to that feedback point, and you'll hear how the hum sort of gradually increases up there, but it's not a really serious hum. Be interesting to see what's going to happen when we daisy chain these and how that's going to compare, and running these other pedals at the same time, no real effect. The Rowin Mini will run up to 8 pedals at a time. I'm currently running 6, because the Ernie Ball Junior there doesn't actually take power, that's passive. And you can see the difference that noise suppressor actually makes, and all that's running through it is just those 2 overdrive pedals. So obviously stacking the 2 overdrive pedals together like that, that's a lot of gain going through there, and you could see when we do just one individually, how you can get the gain up much higher, basically right to the top. So what I'll do is I'm going to have to dismantle this a little bit, just in terms of where it is on the board, so I can make the daisy chain fit around everything, and then we'll daisy chain it up and we will see what happens. Okay, so we now have a daisy chain plugged in. Sorry, the board's got a bit messy, just trying to make the daisy chain fit between everything. We are running it off a Boss PSA adapter that is running into the noise suppressor and then through the output of the noise suppressor through the daisy chain into everything else. Cool, so we will see how we compare once we start turning everything on. So let's turn everything off first for a baseline. And again, I won't talk as we do this because I'll turn this vocal mic off. Okay, I've just got my volume off at the moment. Now I just want to go back to the Rowin Mini again. I want to do those couple of tests with the level and the gain right up on those overdrives so we can compare again. Right, so hopefully that has been a interesting comparison for you. It's definitely interesting to see the difference that gain makes, right? Like the more we push these pad boys, the more we pick up of everything, including the amp signal when we start getting feedback. But yeah, in terms of the earth hum itself, comparison, yeah, what do you reckon? Is the Rowin Mini better? It should in theory be, because they are independent outputs. They're not fully isolated transformer type outputs like I believe the Voodoo Labs and that are. So if you've got real earth hum issues, something like Voodoo Labs probably the way to go. If you're currently daisy chained, this might be a way to go. But yeah, let me know what you think down below.